is time to stop wasting your life. Guys, you are meant for a lot more in your life than where you're at right now, unless you're a millionaire wholesaler right now. But for most people watching this, it is time for a massive change. It is 2025. Some big things need to happen. And more specifically, it's not the addition of doing more things. Sometimes it's about the subtraction or the deletion of some things that's stopping you from becoming successful. What I want to talk about today are 7 things that I quit as a beginner, when I was getting started in this business, that completely changed everything for me, that made me rich and successful wholesaling real estate. These are going to be 7 principles I think you guys can take out of your lives that will make you successful too. And these are things that, you don't read them in a wholesaling book. You don't automatically think of them as just like automatics. But if you start implementing these things in your wholesaling operations, you'll start doing better. And this isn't like, oh, call more sellers, or this is like actual things you can fundamentally do today, make it a true statement. This is a change that I'm making, and you'll start making more money in wholesaling real estate. So these are 7 things that I personally quit that had a huge impact on my success. And I think for most people, if you start implementing this, you're gonna have a massive wholesaling real estate success. So let's talk about the first thing. I think the first thing, and I'm not shy about this, I think I've talked about this many times, but I have turned non-income producing activities into income producing activities. And what I mean by this is take your entire schedule, what you're going to do tomorrow, right? I did a massive blast out today in the school community for Wholesaling.com in the Discord. And I just basically asked everyone, I said, today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. We need to set the week straight. You are going to war for your freedom, war for your financial stability, and war for your family. People are willing to die for the causes of their people, their country, and for their families, and for the betterment of everyone around them. Now, life is not that drastic, right? There's never been a war like that really since World War II. So we haven't gone out here and dealt with that, right? Because it's not like country versus country, but the war that I'm talking about is a war for your life. And this is a lot more personal, obviously, but there comes a day where you start saying, hey, I need to make a change in my life. I'm sick of being broke. My family doesn't deserve this. My kids don't deserve this. My wife, husband, whatever, don't deserve this, right? And a change must occur. Now, when you make this change, it's really hard to understand what you have to do or what you can do, right? Obviously, I'm assuming everybody in here knows about freewholesaling.com, the free community and the free course. So let's not get into the actual actionable steps, because in the course it's all in there, right? But the one thing I think that I did starting out that made a massive change was the preparation to go to battle for my financial freedom. And when you go to war, when you go in a fight, when you go to any of these high stakes situations, you must plan accordingly to win the battle. So if you look at any of the greatest conquerors ever, if you look at ancient battles, right, the Battle of Actium comes to mind in Egypt, where Augustus battled Mark Antony, right, and Cleopatra, right? That was a massive turning point where basically the whole Roman Republic turned into a Roman Empire. But I can nerd about the history of stuff, but this stuff is connected to business because this is war. And you do not win massive military battles. You do not destroy the other side, which is you being broke, without preparation and lots of action. One of Augustus's generals, Versapius, whatever the second commander under Augustus, right? When they won the battle, right, he was the one that did a lot of the preparation and the attack and commanded the troops. Same thing with Augustus, right? And the one that Octavian did was he prepared. That's something not many people do, and that's how you win battles, right? You look at the most amazing conquerors of all time, or the greatest business people, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to do. These are great men and women that prepared. And you are suiting up for battle. You're suiting up against probably the greatest dragon of all time, right? Us as men and women, we don't have adversaries. It's not like comic books where there's the big super villain that we have to defeat. In life, the biggest person we have to defeat is ourselves. But another thing is there's us being broke, or the part of us that is going to keep us broke. So we have to slay that dragon first. And to destroy that villain, we have to prepare ourselves. We have to plan. And this is why the big statement that I talked about today was, guys, what are you doing next week? What are you doing Monday, tomorrow? What are you doing Tuesday through Sunday? Not of like what generally are doing, like specifics. I had a guy say, oh, I'm going to cold call vacant properties. I'm like, specifics. How many are you going to call? How many hours? What times tomorrow are you doing it? What times are you not doing it? What are you doing on your off time? You have to specifically go and understand every part, because in this battle, you do not have troops. You have two things. You have two weapons. You have your time and you have your money. These are our two resources for battle. And if we can utilize our time, our troops correctly, and if we can have some awesome weapons, money, right? X leads or something like that, right? We can get a lot better. Now, you don't have to have money. You just need time. But you need more time if you have no money. If you have some money, you can use less time. But the thing is, we have to prepare. And so the best thing to prepare is to look at our schedule. And the most people run their schedules by just how they feel. And the worst part about that is you have a lot of what I call non-income producing activities. And so I don't want to get brutal on everybody, but if you really want to go from broke to rich or no deals to some deals, you have to eliminate non-income producing activities. What I mean by this is, what are you doing from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. tomorrow? I legit want to know. Now, if somebody says, I don't know what I'm doing, you're done. Chance of success is bad. If you don't know what you're doing from 2 to 4 p.m. tomorrow, not good. We are not starting out on the right foot. We have to know what we're doing. And specifically, are you, during that hour or 2 hours, right, are you producing income or are you not producing income? Now, if you have a job, you're working, right, okay, you're making, that is technically income producing, so fine. But during your wholesaling hours, is you scrolling on Instagram income producing or not? No. And I hate to even be more brutal, but you going through my free course or subscribing to and watching YouTube videos about wholesaling real estate, is that producing you income or is that not? It's not. And now it's maybe if you're pulling a government list and you're watching my video while you're doing it, or maybe you're watching it 11 o'clock where you can't really drive for dollars, cool. But the one thing I'll let everybody know is it's not that you have to stop watching my videos. I think everyone should. The networking, you can produce income by networking, doing JV deals, but the thing is, you just have to be, not that you have to just put your non-income producing activities to zero, but what you need to do is be very cognizant, be very aware of the fact if you are producing income or not during those times. A lot of young men and women have this issue. Not really older people because they're a lot more accountable, but you scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, it's not good. These algorithms are fed to go out here and just keep our brain active. And as a guy that has a lot of views and likes and followers on TikTok, right? They actually might ban TikTok next week. Who knows? A lot of people think it's the worst thing ever. I'm like, hey, if we could use that TikTok time over to wholesaling, we're good. But the thing is, be cognizant of the time we're taking. And what I want you to do is try to maximize the amount of income producing activities as we can do. And so if we spend more time on things that produce us income versus not, automatically our chance of success skyrockets in wholesaling. So if you can go from doing 10 hours of income producing activities all the way up to 15 or 20, we just get more leads, we get more deals, and we have more success. And so start being extremely accountable. And just that one thing I asked of you guys today, right, in the free wholesaling community and in the Discord, I said, how is your schedule? What's your plan? Give me specifics. Give me the whole plan outlined. I'm calling 500 probates next week. Hey, I'm doing this. From this time, I'm like, you got this. And the people actually doing deals, there's people in there doing deals in the course, right, and in the community. They're very specific. The ones that have not gotten a deal, they are not very specific. So it's very, very important that we know how to do that. Number two, learn to say no a lot. Now, I never came up with this quote, but saying no is saying yes to your dreams. Now, I don't know specifically who came up with that quote, but it's completely true. A lot of people think when they say no to somebody, like they're mean and they're saying no, and it's terrible. But the thing I found out is when you say no to your friends or activities and other things, you're saying yes to your dreams. And when you say yes to going drinking 4 nights a week, you're saying no to your dreams. And so there's sometimes a point in your life where for a year, 2 or 3 years, you have to completely grind out, get rid of your work-life balance, and just go all in on yourself. Now, if you're a young man or woman, you're not married, no kids, nothing like that, you live with your parents, I think right now, 2025 is like the time to be doing it. Now, if you're married, kids, all like, it probably shouldn't be doing that crazy, because we have a lot of different type of people watching this, right? We've got thousands of people from all over the world watching. So like definitely different types of people and different moments in their life. But one thing I can tell everyone is saying no will always land you more wholesaling opportunities. So one thing I can tell everyone is if you are going out with the buddies 2 nights a week, just bring it down to 1 night a week. What I did was I always loved hanging out with my buddies and my friends, but like we used to do it every single weekend or every single week. And it wasn't like terrible, right? Like I don't drink, so like it wasn't like terrible the next day, but like it was just like I could be doing better stuff. And so what I decided to do, which was kind of a jerk move, but I said, hey, we used to hang out every Friday night, right? And so what I did was I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it every week, but I'm gonna do it every month. And so once a month I would hang out, and I wouldn't do like 2 hours with buddies. I'd be there for like 4 hours once a month. And that was a lot better, and I was very, very present with them. That was a lot better. Now, I'm not telling you to go do that, and that was probably not the best thing with my friend. Like, I mean, we're all cool, but like now I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, right? And so the thing is, yeah, it was kind of a grind. It kind of sucked, but it was way better. It was just way better for me. It was just the best. And it wasn't like my life was terrible either. Like I said no to a lot of things. Like all my college buddies, when I left college after 2 semesters, and I didn't drop out, by the way, guys. I graduated in 16 months from UF. And what I did was I learned I could take all my tests online and just watch the lectures, and I can do ProctorU. I don't know what they're called anymore. And so I just kind of left my dorm and just started wholesaling, in person. But what I did was I didn't want to leave my friends or ruin the relationship. So I'd go up there every other month for a couple football games, frat parties, all that fun stuff. And, it was very fun to do, but like, it wasn't like I was saying no to them anymore, but I just go up there every other month, go have fun for a weekend or two. And that was great. Right. And so one thing I tell you is it's all in moderation, right? I didn't go and hang out with them every week, right? I just like once a month, but every other month, because they're like 4 hours away from me, right? But it's all about achieving balance in life. And that for some reason mentally was nice for me, where I can grind for a month and then like take 1 day off, not a day off, but like 2 or 3 hours, and then boom, right? And then like every other month would take like a day or two and then go back and do it, right? That for me, I don't know why, maybe I'm just crazy, but like that was enough of a mental break. Now, everyone knows kind of my story. I'm a 7-day-a-week type guy, especially in the grind time. Not really like that anymore, but one thing I could tell you is learn to say no to your friends in a lot of things, because your friends are not always going to be your friends. And you're going to find new friends and lose old friends. It's not a terrible thing to do. One thing I've always noticed with people, and this is not for every person, but this is about 80% of people I know. If you ever ask them, hey, show me who's at your wedding, and they're like in their early 20s, and then you go to now and they're like 50 or 60, say, how many of those people who came to your wedding do you actually talk to 2 times a year or seen in person this year? And like half of them, I don't really see them anymore. I don't really talk to them anymore, because people change. People change. And so it's don't feel like you have to keep relationships with friendships and things like that if they're not helping you out, or they're not good for your life. It's okay to say no if it is saying yes to your dreams. And so that's one thing. A lot of people think they have obligations and things like that. You don't. Now, number 3, one thing I had to quit was my ego. And I don't think I had an ego at 17, 18. I was a little more wild back in my younger years. And I'm still wild right now, but I think I've chilled out a little bit. And the one thing is just always understanding the thing about how you view yourself in the world and how you look at everything. And my outlook on the world is completely different than most wholesalers and most people, even than Rick sometimes. And the one way I always view the world is life is a gift. I am absolutely lucky to be alive right now, and that's all I deserve. Everything else is just an absolute gift. And one thing I tell everyone is the present is called the present, the future is called the future, and the past is called the past. And we call the past because it's in the past. We call the future, it's in the future. But we call the present because it is a gift, it is a present given to us. And the thing is, once you realize how small you are in the world and how really life can just be gone in this, it doesn't matter what nice things you have, what cool things you wear or have or drive or all these things, right? None of that matters at all. You don't go to someone's graveyard, you don't go to someone's grave and be like, how sick was their whip? It don't matter. It does not matter at all. I'd even go crazier to say that, like, if you go 1,000 years in the future, how many of your kids are going to actually, your great, 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 great grandkids know who you are? Past the 1700s, you probably don't know any family members past the 1500s. I'll be honest with you, I don't. And so there comes to a line in 1,000 years, which is very short in the time span in the entire world, where you're not really going to be remembered either. So you're lucky to be here right now. It's over in a second. You have 100 years if you're lucky, 110 maybe of science. Like, stop feeling like you're this hot shot that, like, you're the gift to the world to be alive. Like, everyone should be honored and bow to your presence, because, like, we all can be gone like that. You know, we never know when our time is, and we got to live the most of it. And just one thing I always learned was I always made more money when I stopped having an ego. And more specifically, when you talk to realtors and sellers who might insult you, you're going to find people that insult you all the time. And what I found when I was coming up in wholesaling, when I started to make a lot of money, a lot of my peers were really, really insulted by me and really attacking me. And this isn't just on the YouTube space or like being on the internet. This is about like wholesaling specifically. Once you learn that it doesn't matter and you can't control somebody's opinions, like, that's it. Like, I can't control someone's opinion of me. If they think I'm a terrible person, they think I'm a fraudster, scam guy, and like, go do whatever you want, right? But the thing is, once you learn just to remove your ego, stop thinking you're the greatest thing in the world, and just, hey, I'm blessed to be here, and if I can help as many people as I can and help my family out, you're good to go. And just keep your ego in check. That's all I could tell you. You are not as good as you think you are. You are usually not as smart as you think you are. Cool, but you are lucky. And once you realize that and how grateful you are to be alive, your life gets a lot better. Now, I'm not saying not to have nice things or celebrate or do that, but truly understand your place and just know we are completely, utterly just ourselves, and that's all we can be. So don't get all foo-foo shmoo on you, but like, that's it, guys. Just kill your ego. That's the one thing I can tell you about this. And what I find, this is specifically for the men out there. Most of the ladies that I talk to and know in wholesaling, their egos are not crazy. You know, someone can say something mean to them, and like, they don't get completely butthurt and try to fight them. The amount of people online that have said that they want to punch me is insane, and they're all on like the I'm not gonna say it, but basically all the haters get all upset. But like, the thing is, I haven't had one. The one thing I'll tell you is, I've never had one woman hater that said they want to punch me or I should be beat up because of a free wholesaling course. It's always the guys for some reason. Always choose violence, but it's like, it always comes from a place of your ego, the hate because you're upset that someone's doing better than you. So really understand that too. If you ever find yourself jealous or being a hater or trying to say a mean comment, or just understand, like, the hate only comes from below, never from above. And just really check yourself out there. If you're getting offended from somebody, especially in wholesaling, it's usually your ego. So really understand that, guys, not the gals, really, mostly guys. Number 4, probably one of the biggest ones, is your non-belief. Now, this is specifically not really for me, because once I got my first deal, the belief was already set in for me. But for you guys, it is the non-belief you have to quit. Now, you must have confidence talking to a seller. You must believe in yourself talking to a seller. So the definition of confidence is the belief in the words you say and the actions you take. Now, if you talk to a motivated seller and you do not believe in the words you say, you do not believe in helping them, you do not believe your cash offer will help them out, you do not believe that you and your partner, your cash buyer, can actually help the seller out, you're cooked. You're done. You are not going to get the deal. You're going to sound like, but you're going to be all nervous. You're going to be shaky. And the thing is, you are shaky talking to the seller because you do not believe in yourself. Now, one quote Rick always says, which is just one of the most truest acquisitions quotes in wholesaling real estate, but how can you have the seller believe in you if you do not believe in yourself? Oh, I love that. How can you have a seller believe in you if you do not even believe in yourself? So you must believe yourself first. That is the definition of confidence. A lot of people say, Zach, how do I gain confidence? Is this Wizard of Oz? Do I need to be the lion with the courage? I have given you courage, or courage has been inside of you all along. So stupid. Just believe in what you're saying. I don't believe I could buy a house. Of course you can't buy the house. You got no money. You're broke. But you can go give me a deal. I could buy it as a partner. I'll give you equity in the deal. Now you believe you can do it with your partner. Guys, I can tell you with complete conviction that me and Michael Jordan have both won over 6 championship rings in the NBA. I believe in my soul, me and Michael Jordan combined have over 6 rings in the NBA. It's 6, right? Not 5? Let me make sure. Does he have 6 or 5? It might have been 5. 6. Okay, good. I was right. Okay, 6. And so I believe that with full conviction in my heart because I believe in that statement because me and him, 0 plus 6 equals 6. And so the thing is, you just have to believe in yourself. And so if you want to feel like you're better or you just want to sound more confident, you just have to believe. And that's pretty much it. And so just believe in what you're saying and you'll sound a lot better. Now, a lot of people need experience. They need to be on the phones for 100 to 300 hours to start sounding better because there comes to a point you just believe in yourself. Like, hey, like, I believe I can do this. Or you believe that you're scared, right? Like I believe, I don't believe I can do it. Or I'm scared. What if they say something mean to me? And all that? Guys, just believe in yourself and you'll sound a lot more confident. You'll have a lot less ums and buts and being worried all the time. And you'll do a lot better. Number 5, control the controllables. Another way you can say this is to just worry about the things that are in your control and don't worry about the things that are outside your control. Now, this is just standard like Stoicism 101, but like this is one of the truest principles you can do as just a human being. If something is outside your control, stop worrying about it. And it's very hard to say that. It's very difficult in practice, right? Like, so if like a hurricane is barreling towards Florida, it's like, well, I can't control this. What can I control? Well, I can get out of the area or I can stay and prepare. Me watching the TV 50,000 times is not going to help. Now, preparing, now, how do you control of, where the thing's going? Sure. But a lot of people like worry about things that are outside your control. Now, the most common one, there's 2 very, very, very common things of things outside your control. And I'm going to get attacked on the internet for saying this. But sports is one thing that you cannot control. It drives me crazy when people actually get like extremely irritable, emotional about sports. I know somebody that if you tell them something bad about their favorite college football team, they actually have an actual conniption. They start throwing things. They start screaming. Their whole week is dictated to how good their college football team does. And it's like, you never went to the college. You've never been to the actual stadium. That college does not care at all about you or your family or anything like that. And you are so emotionally invested with it. It's insane to me. Now, as somebody that's a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, I get upset, but like, it's because I let myself do it, right? It's always fun. I absolutely love it. But like my day has never been ruined from a Miami Dolphins game because of one principle that follows: expectations versus reality. But if my expectations are we suck, we're not going to win, and we win, I'm pretty happy. That's one thing about life I've always found is your happiness is always going to be your expectations minus your reality. So if you expect to make 100 grand this year and you make 80, you're usually a little ticked off. You're a little upset. If you make 120 and you expect to make 100, you're very happy. But if you expect to make 50, you made 80, you're going to be ecstatic. So it's always about your expectations minus your reality. That's why surprises are always nice, because your expectations were nothing and you got something. So it's infinite returns on happiness with surprises and spoiling. And people usually get upset on their birthday, fun fact, because their expectations were that they're the king or queen of the world of that day and nobody called them up and they were expecting somebody to call them. So your expectations do not meet your reality. That makes you upset. That's happiness 101. Most people expect to have food on the table and to have at least a roof over their head. They don't have that. They're not happy. Expectations versus reality. So one thing I'll tell you is I've never let a sports game in the past, honestly, 8 years now, really upset me anymore. I've been excited. I've been happy. It's been fun. It's merely entertainment for me. But I always tend to control the things inside of my control. And the coolest part about wholesaling real estate and getting rich is that it's completely in your control. The fact that the Miami Dolphins will go lose and not make the playoffs again, and Tua gets hurt, and Tyreek throws a little hissy fit and becomes a little crybaby, right? That is outside my control. So am I going to let that upset me that the Miami Dolphins suck and we used to lose to the Patriots, now we lose to the Bills? Do I let that upset me? No. All right. Is it like Man, yeah. But I've never let a sports game in the past 8 years. Back then I used to, but I never let a sports game affect my mood if they lost ever in the past 8 years because it's not in my control. The one thing that's in my control is getting rich. And the funny part about people that are addicted to sports and love sports, and this is a guy that loves sports. I almost watch every single Miami Dolphins game. I watch every Dolphins game. I watch every Florida Gators game, half of every Florida Gators game, and I watch usually 1 to 2 Miami Heat games a week, right? And I love going to Miami, going to games once or twice a month, right? But I will tell you, as someone that loves sports, if you are taking time out of your day, which you could have a better change in your life watching sports, you are being stupid. I would say you can pull a government list while watching a sports game or doing something, but I just want everyone to know that it's out of your control. The biggest thing that is inside of your control right now is you getting rich, though. Your bank account is completely in your control. How your life goes by December 2025 is completely in your control. How your life is going to be from a year from now is completely in your grasp. So just really understand that. There are going to be people that watch this that go through unbelievable tragedy. Maybe loved ones pass away, knock on wood, won't happen to you or me, but like somebody, maybe something happens like that. For most of it, maybe some of it's not, like it is controllable. So like just control what you can control. Like don't drink and drive, that is completely up to you. But like just really understand that if it's something that you cannot control, if it's something that there's nothing you can do to disrupt the impact or the outcome of that, stop worrying about it. Your life will become a lot better. That's all I can tell you. Number 6, work-life balance. I'll be honest with you. This is for my youngins out there. This is for anyone that I've said, you have no wife, no husband, and you do not have any kids. Those are my exceptions. I believe when you become married and you make a vow to somebody, that is your word, that is your bond, that is something even greater than yourself, is who you are as a person and how you're perceived to the world. And you make a vow to somebody and you choose to be a part of your family, that is part of family. That is something that kind of goes above everything else. But outside of that, if you are not married and you do not have any kids and you live with your parents, you should not have work-life balance. Like, I don't even want to see you have any fun. And I'm not even like saying that like joking. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but like, why are you watching the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight when you could be cold calling sellers? Like, what in the world are you doing? And you can have some fun. I tell everyone, have at least an hour a day for something that is outside of wholesaling, that is not work related, that you just take your mind off and be happy. Maybe it's reading behind you go to bed. Maybe it's reading an hour before you go to bed. Maybe it's playing video games for an hour. Maybe it's watching a Miami Dolphins game, right? Maybe it's doing something, painting, singing, I don't really care. But you should always have that. But outside of that, like, you need to get your butt in check, right? You need to set out an hour for yourself and an hour for working out, and pretty much everything else is wholesaling 101, baby. And you need to go all in. Now, specifically for my ones that are not married, no kids, live at home, right? I'm not going to tell you need to quit your job, but you need to quit your job. Like you need to go all in right now. Like this is your one time, because you are going to get married and you do not choose when you find the right one. When the right one comes, the right one comes, and there is nothing you're going to do about it because you can't let that go away, right? Some things are fate in the world. But also, you're never going to have this opportunity ever in your life to make this financial change. Most of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time, they make the change before their age 30. Now, I'm not saying if you're over 30 or 40, 50, you can't get rich. There are plenty of examples, but it just gets a lot harder. And if I want you to really have the best chance of success, do it now. Do it before the kids. Do it before the wife or husband, because I think everyone watching this can tell you, it gets a lot harder with kids. It gets a lot harder with a spouse. It gets a lot harder when you're taking care of people. When you have nobody to take care of except for yourself, that's when you go all in on yourself. So honestly, just get rid of the work-life balance. Like it ain't even a thing anymore. It's not. Work is fun, and fun is work. And I promise you, it's going to be a grind for about a year or two, but it is the greatest payoff I've ever had in my entire life. It feels amazing to be able to do whatever I want, wherever I want, where be anywhere in the world. The coolest part is I can be anywhere in the world, my income ain't gonna change. And so I think everyone really should start looking like that. And it's a very funny thing when you start looking at the price, when you don't have to look at the price anymore and it just doesn't bother you. It's pretty dang cool, just being honest. Yeah, so work-life balance, the one quote, and this is not my quote, but I absolutely love this one, is pay the price now so you never have to look at the price ever again. And I absolutely love that quote because it's true. Pay the price now and you never have to look at the price ever again. I don't like the price of things anymore. I might be upset, but like it doesn't bother it doesn't bother me, but it does bother me at the same time. I remember once I paid $20 for a hot dog at a stadium, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And I said, wait, I'm rich. So, and then I was like, okay, fine. But like, just, you know, it can bother you, but if you're rich, you know? And 7, probably the last one, is quit sleeping. Like actual, like, wake up. Specifically, wake up. And what I mean by this is a lot of you people watching this, right? Like, you've already woken up, right? Now, is it bad to say you're woke? You can't say that's not a good term, right? But like, just like wake up. Most Americans, most people in general, are sleeping. And that's why I love to use the Matrix, even though some other influencers kind of have taken that over. But you have to wake up to reality. Let's really have a real chat about the state of the world right now and where you're at right now if you have no money. You're watching, you guys already know the answer if you're watching this, but maybe some guys are kind of on the fence, or gals. Let's kind of look at the whole chessboard here of where you're at in the world. If you are a 20-year-old male living in Atlanta, Georgia, let's look at your life right now. Actually, let's call you 18 years old. You're about to graduate high school, Atlanta, Georgia. All right. 18, you can choose to go to college, you cannot, whatever, right? You can go to college for the next 4 years. And at the end of the 4 years, after spending 60, 70 grand, you are going to be set for a job to make $40,000, $50,000 for the rest of your life. Rent is $2 grand a month. Health insurance is crazy. Food is insane. The price of gas is crazy. The price of car insurance, cars are expensive, and you're making $40,000 or $50,000. You cannot afford to live by yourself. You can't afford to do that. Your parents were able to do that. Your great-grandparents were able to do that, and obviously your great-great-grandparents were able to do that. And we're in a generation now where if you just have a regular starter job, like let's say you're just a regular worker, I don't know, what's a good example? You know, you're a car mechanic, standard job back in the day. Be able to own a house, you know, your wife didn't work, right? Stuff like that. Like I'm not trying to say, you know, that's the way it should be, but like I'm like, if you're watching this right now, like that's where you're at 18. Like you can't actually afford to be on yourself. You have to stay with your parents. If you're a woman doing this, right? Same thing, same $40,000, $50,000 a year. And the craziest thing is, it's like you just can't afford to be on by yourself. Like what other option do you have? And you know, I've gone to lengths talking about this, but like you're not going to be able to afford a house just having a regular job anymore. So you need to either choose to just stay asleep and just beg to find a roommate or something, and like hopefully can scrape by. And let's say things go well, you find the woman or spouse of your dreams, right? And maybe they're a nurse, maybe you're a mechanic. You both make $120 a year after everything. It's net 70 after taxes, maybe. And you both scrape by and you spend everything you make, but you live a decent life. Are you willing to do this for the next, if you're 22, are you willing to do this for the next 45 years of your life? Like be completely honest with me watching this right now. Are you prepared to be a nurse for the next 40 years of your life? Are you ready to be a car mechanic for the next 40 years of your life? Let's talk about risk. Okay. Everybody says, oh, starting a wholesaling business is risky. Let me tell you something that's risky. If you're a car mechanic, how risky is AI with a robot going to take your job? How risky is every single car manufacturer making electric cars where a robot can just switch the battery and really do most of your work? If you're a nurse, how bad if we have an AI robot that can do 90% of your job? Now, we have nurses debate me, but have you ever seen these new Tesla robots? 40 years, you think they're not going to get that good? They can check your blood pressure. They can do some med pass. They can do it. And I'm not saying automatically, but we've got robots doing surgeries now, right? Your job can get automated tomorrow. You're a truck driver. I'm not trying to freak you out, but like, let's talk about the real risk here. The real risk is your job gets cut and you're a nurse now. Nope, no more. We don't need any more nurses. What? What other job you got? You got your nursing degree. What else are you going to do, right? And so the thing is, the risk is your job's going to get automated. And a lot of people's jobs are going to get automated, right? Back in the day, most people worked in agriculture or farming, and that completely got changed. And so the thing is, the biggest risk is just staying in that job. That's the true thing here. So the real part is just to wake up right now to reality of like your job can get automated tomorrow. If you died at your job right now, God forbid, knock on wood, okay, something terrible happens to you, you'll get replaced in 5 seconds. Not one care in the world about you, probably. Not one care. You're replaced like that. The corporation does not care about you. So the real risk here is you not having that life. What if you could have started wholesaling? Now you're making 300 grand a year, and then up to $1 million. And now you have millions in the bank, got millions in rental properties, and you're making 6 figures a year in passive income. And you get to retire at 30, 40, whatever it is, right? Going to see that version of yourself could have happened is the greatest risk ever. You can always go back to the job. Like right now, if you quit nursing, whatever, you can always go back to nursing. Right now, we still need them, right? So the thing about this is the greatest risk is staying where you're at right now. And if you're that type of person without kids or anything like that, like you need to go all out. Like you have no other choice. Like this is my wake-up call. And do not come to me in 2 or 3 years with 2 kids and a husband crying about how you wish you started. I ain't crying with you because this is the time. This is the mess. Like, guys, I'm not here making videos just to make videos or to try to get you to do, like, I'm doing this to change your life. I have plenty of money. I own plenty of property. I got enough in the bank. I got enough assets. I don't need to be doing this no more. But I choose to do this. And I feel like a 90-year-old man talking to you about this. But I'm legit doing this because you need a voice. There's not one person on the internet that's going to teach you wholesaling real estate for free except for me and Rick. Only people here that are going to give you a free course, a free community, all these things. So it's not that I can't retire. It's like I can't. There's no one else willing to teach anything for free. So me and Rick are doing it. So just wake up to the true reality of your job doesn't care about you. You can get replaced in 5 seconds, and the greatest risk is staying here. The great Jim Rohn once said that something's risky, but you know, life is the riskiest thing. That's what he said, because you don't get out of life alive. So the risk is always 100%. You will die. One day you will die. So risk is 100%. So risk is very relative here. I think in the United States, we have a very good social safety net. We give a lot of money to people for a lot of things. And so food stamps, stuff like it's never like going to be on the streets. Your mom will always take you in if you're living with your parents, right? So like, wake up. Let's go all out. And my last thing I can tell you is your parents are going to say, oh, wholesaling, don't do it. Here's the thing about parents and spouses and people saying you can't do it. They don't believe in you until you do it, and then they say they always believed in you. The greatest way to shut up your nagging parents about wholesaling is to show them you just made more money than them in a month. I've always found that 100% true. So if you want to learn wholesaling real estate for free, got a free wholesaling course. Like always, it is called freewholesaling.com. It's actually my free wholesaling community too. So it is a community and a course all in one. It's called freewholesaling.com. Where is it? There you go. It's called freewholesaling.com. It's where I teach wholesaling real estate for free. It's also my free community. And yeah, it's my only wholesaling community. So it's the only place where I have a wholesaling course or community anymore. Flipboard Plus is now part of freewholesaling.com. It's all free. And we have the X plan, X Leads Mastermind now.